So like a lot of folk, I'm doing a ball screw conversion of my RongFu clone, and as part of that I thought, yeah, okay, better put in some grooves for oiling. Every video I've seen online uses their friend's Bridgeport. I don't have access to a Bridgeport, so I'm going to show you my bootstrap approach to putting in grooves in your ways. So there's the pattern I'm going for on the x-axis. Just one big long diagonal there with a little tail at each end, and here we just go around that bolt there. There's my y-axis pattern. I've got myself some draw slides, some all thread, and some timber. We're going to make a temporary saddle, and we're going to use our y-axis to push the temporary saddle backwards and forwards. 2 lots of 500. Two lots of 400. There's my 500. The rails I got were 400. So you can sort of see where I'm headed with this. Put the all thread through and mark it off. For the second all thread, I want to make sure I get it below the rail. Like if I put the all thread through here, the rail's going to interfere with it. So I'll just lay the rail down on the timber there. I know that it's got to be below that line there. I also want to keep it far enough away from here. We'll be turning the handle. Righto, here's a chance for you to learn from my mistake. I could either have made this timber longer so that the bolt comes across here. That'll still foul, but I haven't. I've already cut the timber, so we'll work with it. I'm going to put it here. I'm just going to put it just above that so that we don't have to think about anything. But you can see that's going to hit the rail, so I'll just have to raise the rail up a bit when I mount it to this one, just so that it still clears. This is very much a make it up as I go along kind of design. There we go. It's not going to lift up without a huge amount of force. It's not going to slide forwards or back. Let's put the rails on, I think. We've got 15 more. Because we want some clearance around the handle, we need to lift this up a bit. So just find something that's the same height, and we'll use that to ensure that the rail stays parallel to the bed here. across here. So we just glue these two blocks in, one in there, one in there. I've just dropped some cardboard in there to keep any dribbly glue off the mill base. Come back another day and see how that goes. Just wanted to point out that the kind of timber I'm using here, this is called Damascus timber. They make it by layering up different kinds of wood and forging them together until you get this nice sort of grained kind of finish. So Damascus timber, look out for that one. Okay, it's a new day, the glue has set. Next step is to get the lead nut attached to this box frame we've made here. We'll just make a block that comes down here that this can bolt into. That looks good. We'll now pocket that out to take the lead screw nut. So after some fudge factor, we've got the brass nut now attached there. Got a bolt going through there. It all came out a bit rough around there, but it's alright. It's on there nice and solid. Yeah. Width-wise, it's aligned good enough for what we need to do. Our glue is set from yesterday. Measure once, cut twice. Looks like we'll have to remove a bit of wood from here. Righto, we'll be back. That's it. lots of 400. Now we'll glue our supply in place, making T-slots in that direction as we go. Now we just need something to hold it down while the glue sets. The cloth underneath the saddle here made an inconsistent height, so I figured I'll just put it straight on the ply. I've got my little spacers here set between each slat, so you can then sandwich them all together while the glue's still wet. And now we'll just let it sit overnight. One temporary saddle. So now we've clamped the saddle down to the temporary table, and you can see we've not put it on there square, put it on an angle so that our oil slot that we are about to mill here goes on a nice diagonal across the length of the way. I try to get the T-nuts to be positioned pretty close to the pine that goes that way, because the plywood is glued to the pine. That's where we're going to have the best strength. So I've got a 4mm diameter ball mill. Rounded ball mill. Use that one. Here we go. This long pass on the x-axis, I'm just going to do it in 2 stages. So we'll get halfway and then we'll do the other half here. This is one of those times where a round column mill is kind of handy. Just swung my head sideways just to get it to reach over to here. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have access to a Bridgeport mill, it's probably a better way of putting oil grooves into your saddleways. But if you don't have access to a Bridgeport, then this certainly is an option. Yeah, if you give this a go yourself, I'd love to hear about it and how it went for you. And thanks for watching. See ya.